How's it going, YouTube? You got Pat Mack here, coach of the Sacramento Sandslash, and we are bringing you the power rankings for the TGR Restricted League. This is Season 3 at this point. We've had 2 amazing seasons so far, and so we're back with a 3rd one. And we're going to be talking about the power rankings for the Restricted League. And I have a couple of people joining me today, Brave and Matrix. Two of you want to say hi?
Hey there, I'm Brave of the Migrating Melodics. Happy to be here. Matrix, go ahead.
Yeah, hi guys, it's Matrix here, coach of the Welsh Waylords and the Welsh Wooloos. Not actually playing this season, but happy to help out where I can.
Yep, and so the 3 of us are going to take a look at teams and just chat about what we like, what we don't like, what we think could change, or just kind of in general our general opinions of teams. And at the end of it, I have my power rankings that I have made. Brave and Matrix have not seen them yet, which is going to be pretty exciting. I'm very interested to see what their reactions are once we get to that at the very end. However, we're just going to talk about the teams in draft order. So we'll go through different teams, talk about what they got, and go from there. So let's go ahead and get started. Our first team here is the CNY Charizards, coached by ERNYC3777. And here's the team. Brave, what are your first thoughts taking a look at this?
Well, looking at this, I can immediately see a Rain core with Pelipper setting up Rain. Then I can see Zapdos and Ludicolo that work well. And then there's Gooder as well that enjoys Rain. And then obviously I can see some really good mons, Zacian Crown. I mean, we don't have to introduce that one. But there's also Mienshao. There's, what is it, Meowstick? Yep, Meowstick. That can run Prankster. Yeah, and I think, this team looks really well-rounded. I like this team a lot. What do you think, Matrix?
Obviously, you got the Rain mode, which protects the Zacian from the fire types. What I really like is the Cresselia. It's a fast, bulky support one, which can run Trick Room and stuff, but it can also run stuff like Skill Swap with Levitate, and that's a way of protecting Zacian from ground types, one of its other weaknesses. It's actually, looking at it as a whole, there's a few repeating types, like obviously you got 2 Psychics, 2 Waters, but it's a solid team.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's one of those teams where like the type synergy might not be there, but the team overall like works really well together. I think one of the things I really like about it is that it has good fast modes and it has good slow modes. And its slow mode is probably more about getting it out of Trick Room, so like Cresselia to reverse it or Adina to reverse it, something like that. Because this team really wants to play fast, right? Like it does not want the game to go slowly here.
Yeah, I can only see like Audino setting up Trick Room, right? I think that's the only one.
Cresselia,
is there any other one?
There's
Cresselia as well, yeah.
Andalore and Meowstick all get Trick Room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, okay, sorry, yeah, that's a lot of mons that get Trick Room actually.
Yeah, I think they do have Imprison also. Like I think Chandelier has Imprison, so they can stop it from going up too. And actually,
the Rain really works well to keep Zacian safe too, so I think it's a really good team though. I mean, it's going to be hard. But if you have like your own weather control, I think you can break through.
One of my favorite parts of this team is Mienshao, because Mienshao is one of the fastest fake out users. Got inner focus, so it can't be faked out. It's a really good fast offensive support mon, and I think it's nice that it can be like brought in the back or led up front and do damage or just support the Zacian or the Rain mode really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I think it's a really good team. I mean, overall, like this team is kind of hard to find the weaknesses. I would say like potentially a weakness for this team is if you can get Trick Room up and leave it up, then like that's obviously going to help against this team. But of course they have ways to stop that or reverse it or mitigate it at least. So okay, let's go and talk about our next team. Yeah, this is KC, coach of the Ninja Squirtles. And Matrix, what are your first thoughts taking a look at this one?
So there's a lot of type variety on this team with what I call colourful, because you've got your grass, your water, your fire types. Serena is an amazing mod, especially in Series 10, stopping any priority, as well as Indeedee. This team is fully prepped for any sucker punches or anything like that. So that's really protecting the Calyrex Shadow, which is obviously can easily fall victim to stab sucker punch. You've got the Suicune, which is a really bulky water type, and in this format, bulky waters such as Suicune, Primarina, Tapu Fini, they're really valuable to have on a team. What are your thoughts on this, Brave?
I kind of agree with what you just said. It has like Intimidate with Landorus. It has Prankster. Yeah, it actually has double Intimidate. It has Mawile as well. So yeah, I think this team is pretty good as well. And yeah, like you said, Calyrex needs to be protected from those dark moves. And yeah, with those double protecting layers, I could say. Yeah. Also the Darmanitan, I mean, it hits like a truck, so this looks really... And then the Suicune's very bulky, can set Tailwind. So yeah, this looks really nice. Back to you, Pat Mac.
Yeah, no, I thought this team looked really good too. This is actually my week 1 opponent, so I don't know if I want to go too much into weaknesses that I see in the team. But the team is just really good. Like, I remember when I first looked at prepping against this, like, this man did not want to get hit by Sucker Punch. Like that was like looked like the main game plan. Like Indeedee and
you even
Serena on the
mentioned
same
it.
team.
Yeah. You mentioned it during the draft as well, I remember. So
yeah, like he just does not want that to happen. Which like, and it totally works, right? Like having the Indeedee to follow me, lets Calyrex look very strong, and then like he just has a pretty good fast mode. I think potentially one weakness of this team is the slow mode.
Yeah,
like there isn't really like if Trick Room can go up against this team, then it looks pretty solid. And he does have a way to reverse it, but sometimes that doesn't always happen. But most Trick Room setters are also weak to Calyrex, so
that's exactly what I was about to point out. Yeah.
So setting up Trick Room against this team is going to be pretty hard. As much as it might be a good strategy, it's going to be very difficult to do because you can't redirect attacks away from like your Trick Room setter, or like resist berries don't work against it because of the Calyrex. Like it's a really solid team. I really like it.
Yeah. It's also got some decent speed control, as we mentioned before. Obviously, you got that Trick Room with the Dusknoir, but you've got Prankster T-Wave with the Purloin, which I think isn't to be overlooked. That I think could be a mode that he runs with Serena as his like priority immunity for the Calyrex instead of Indeedee, so he can use the Prankster on Purloin. You've also got like a very fast Jolteon, which can do fast Thunder Waves, and all this type of speed control can really help the Darmanitan shine a bit, as Darmanitan kind of lacks on the speed end of things.
Yeah, definitely. Anything you want to add before we look at the next team?
Not really. I think we're good to go.
I really like Scyther.
I'm really excited to see what Scyther does. I haven't seen it used in any of our restricted leagues yet, so I'm also very interested in that one. Okay, next team here is the dripped out Draggapults, coached by Jake Queefius. And Brave, what are your thoughts on this team?
Alright, let's see. This is the first time you're looking at this team. You can see Drifblim, Marowak, Fledgling. Yeah, I think it has all the support it needs. I don't really see where's the restricted. Oh, Heatmore?
There is no restricted for this team.
Yeah. Wow, this is interesting. Can I pass the button to Matrix first? I'm going to look up these mons a little bit more.
So the first thing I see is obviously you've got the Tapu Fini and the Drifblim. You got that Unburdened support right out the gate. You've got, what I've noticed is it's very top heavy type of team compared to the last two teams, I think, because you got like Tapu Fini, you've got Salamence, you've got Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl's are really one of the best support mons in my opinion. Prankster and can be offensive if it wants to be as well. I like this little synergy you've got between the Rotom Mo and the Heatran, being able to swap in on each other. Like obviously Heatran can take the fire type moves for Rotom, the Flash Fire, and then Rotom can take ground type moves with Levitate. It can also tank a few water type attacks for Heatran. So it's a team that actually well supports this Heatran. We've got like 4 Mons immune to ground on this team. And so Heatran is able to perform a little bit. The only thing, maybe, this team is also not weak to burns or intimidate too much, because you've got this Defiant Bisharp, which is protected by Misty Terrain. So intimidate and attack dropping isn't as easy for this easy to disrupt this team with, and which is quite vital considering you've got some really strong physical mons in Marowak, Salamence, even Grimmsnarl, which you typically would like to burn or intimidate to try and drop their attack stats. I don't think Salamence is the best mon in Series 10 because of its. You get this situation where all of its stab is low accuracy, high power, so you end up missing a lot, or it's high accuracy, low power. So you're sacrificing one or two things with Salamence.
Does any of these mons get like gravity? Maybe that might help.
Not that I'm aware. Maybe Oranguru does.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if you necessarily want gravity up again, with this team though, because he has so many like flying mons.
Flying types, yeah.
It could be nice though for stopping Silence from getting burned with the Misty Terrain. But I really like the Oranguru. Oranguru is one of my favorite Trick Room setters / support mons in Series 10. And it obviously it can't be faked out due to Inner Focus as one of its abilities. And you get Trick Room up, and you've got this Marowak in Trick Room, and you can just go for Instruct, and you're doing big damage.
Yeah, there's a chance of Instruct Earthquakes there. That seems like a pretty strong strategy.
He also has Marowak to keep his flying type safe, so with what is it, Lightning Rod?
Oh yeah.
So that's also pretty good.
For Tapu Fini as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting how strong this team looks, even though it doesn't have a restricted, right? It doesn't have one of those super top tier mons. I thought it was really funny, Matrix, when you called this team top heavy, and I totally agree with you. Don't get me wrong, but it's top heavy without a restricted, which is very, very interesting. It's not something that this league has seen before yet.
Yeah, this looks like a nice dark horse team. I'm really curious to see how they do.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's take a look at our next team here. This is the Rolled Gold Pretzels, coached by Gumi2020. And I'll go and start off and talk about this team. This team feels pretty good to me. There's good speed outside of Trick Room. There's some good power inside of Trick Room. I don't believe there's a Trick Room setter on the team though. So it's going to be more about it has Registeel and Primarina as options inside of Trick Room, but it has good type synergy, I feel. And then I love Riolu. I had Riolu last season, and getting coaching onto Rillaboom or onto Calyrex Ice or Garchomp, all of those mons are gonna love the support that Riolu can offer here. What do you think, Brave?
Cute.
I can totally agree with you there. I also see this team has all the core. So it has the Grass, Water, Fire core. It has the Fantasy core as well. So this looks really solid. Then it has with Salazzle a really fast fake out, I think. Yeah, and then what is it? Curem Black. That thing hits like a truck. So yeah, this team looks scary with a Riolu as support. I'm not really sure what the Sudowoodo does. Somebody might need to explain that to me.
I don't know either.
But I mean, I like it as a mascot. So
well, if so Sudowoodo, it gets rattled as one of its abilities. And it's also a Trick Room option as well if he's going up against a team obviously you've got Glastrier and Calyrex Ice, which are obviously good Trick Room mons, and Sudowoodo can go for Rockhead, Head Smashers or something.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Into the Ice mons and counter the Ice type Trick Room mons. There's also the option for it to be rattled, as I said, which means that it can be increases its speed when hit by a dark, bug, or ghost type move, or if it's intimidated. And this means that you've got these beat up mon in Salazzle, relatively fast as well, so you can get a really fast Sudowoodo going, as maybe just a 1 week type of situation. It might just be a one-off mode, but it is a mode that's there nonetheless. Especially the Salazzle can also beat up the Arcanine with Justified. I know obviously in Series 10 Justified isn't as strong, but it's still a mode that is there for Kumi to exploit. I really like the Riolu for a defensive coaching into the Registeel. You could go for Iron Defense and coaching into it, boosting its defense even more. Or you could go for an Amnesia with the Registeel and a coaching to get a defense boost and a special defense boost in the same turn.
Yeah, that looks really solid.
Yeah, it does.
You can also go for a bulkier Kyurem Black, which could be running a weakness policy as it is a restricted, and you get Bullet Punch proc from Riolu. Followed by a coaching boost the following turn, or vice versa. So, apart from his more obvious modes, like that Fire, Water, Grass core is super strong, like Rillaboom, Primarina, and Arcanine is one of the strongest Fire, Water, Grass cores I've seen in the Series 10.
Yeah, that's really good.
Obviously, you've got Salazzle as well, but Garchomp isn't one of my favourite mons, but yeah, that's all the modes that I can see here.
Yeah, I think one thing that I would probably have like as a knock against this team is that I don't really like having like physical ground types with grassy terrain. So like reducing the power of your own earthquakes just doesn't seem that appealing to me. So I would have liked to have seen like a special ground attacker. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I think that would have been nice here.
That was just on top of my head as well. Gastrodon.
Gastrodon would have been pretty sweet.
Only special ground type I could think of.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at our next team here.
Well, yeah.
Oh, you want to add something?
I was just thinking of Earth Power, something that uses Earth Power, but yeah, nothing springs to mind. So
Heatran would have been pretty sweet with this team.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, but someone's already got that, so no luck. All right, let's take a look at our next team here. This is Olrum, coach of the Middle Village Pidevs. And I don't know, first thing that jumps out to me is too restricted with Dialga and Ho-Oh. What do you think about that, Matrix?
Are we able to take two restricteds to one match? We can't, can we?
Nope, you can only get used one at a time.
Yeah. I think that kind of... I don't know. I feel like you could probably have just ran Talonflame instead of Ho-Oh maybe, or... You know, it's... I think as a draft strategy, having two restricteds is counterproductive. Just because if it limits... Your opponent knows, well, you're either bringing Dialga or you're bringing Ho-Oh, you know? You don't have to worry about it being them both being on the same team.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you want me to talk a bit more about my thoughts on the whole team?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm not the biggest fan of this team as a whole. Just looking at it, it's kind of a bit all over the place. I mean, your Fire, Water, Grass core is Thwackey, Lantern, Ho-Oh, which isn't the strongest, especially if you can't always bring the Ho-Oh if you want to bring Dialga. So I'm not a big fan there. The Fantasy core is, again, your Steel type is your other restricted, Alchemy, and God, I'm just even trying to figure it all out. Dialga again, so I don't know. I'm kind of hard pressed to see exactly what this team does. It does protect Rhyperior very well from water type moves and Ho-Oh from water type moves. 3 mons immune to water. Xurkitree is kind of restricted by your Rhyperior. Rhyperior is restricted by the Thwackey. It just seems a bit not sure. Identity problem.
Yeah, looks like a teenager.
Oh man!
I can see some interesting things here. Like I can definitely see him going for some memes. You know, I mean, there's lovely Kiss Jinx. There's a Sableye that can pull some pranks. What is it called? Milcery's Evolution.
Alchemy.
Alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
Could do some fun things. I mean, this team just looks fun to use, and it's like you say. I mean, they can't bring 2 restricteds, but I can definitely see him prepping something fun each week. So in that sense, maybe not the strongest team, but definitely something fun to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the things that I like about this team is the like support options that he has. I think like Thwackey, Umbreon, Sableye, Alchemy. Like I like those as really good support options. And I actually didn't notice all the like clashing in terms of like the Xurkitree and Rhyperior and the like Thwackey and Rhyperior kind of problems there. But yeah, I think I like the support options. Like I really love Sableye. I think it's a really good mon. And then Umbreon, of course, is really powerful too. So
I think with Sableye you have like a lot of weather support, right? So I mean,
yeah,
if you bring Ho, you can set up Sun. If you bring, I guess, Lantern or Dialga, you can set up Rain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does have some clashing though. Like I didn't notice kind of the issues there, but I like the support options, and I think that like Olrum's gonna have a fun time putting teams together and finding ways for them to work. And then of course like Dialga was the kill leader by like a mile or something last season. Yeah. Like it was nuts.
Dialga's a great mon, no doubt about it, and it can obviously set Trick Room for the Rhyperior, but they share weakness with ground.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just and fighting.
Did you guys know that Dialga's getting its own game soon?
Should be a fun one. All right, let's take a look at our next team here. So we have the Machesney Park Slowpokes, coached by a Praetor 54. And Brave, what do you think about what we have going on here?
Yeah, so I talked to him during the draft, like how is your plan getting along, and he was saying like how he was working on getting his cores right. So I can see the grass water fire core with the Incineroar melodic Sceptile, and then the fantasy core with Slurpuff, Klinklang, and where's the dragon?
There's no dragon.
Oh, the dragon's missing. Oh, I guess that one he didn't complete. But I like this team because, I mean, obviously Incineroar is great. There's some nice support with the Ndidi, the Tornadus, and then there's this mini core of Klinklang and what's it called? The guitarist.
Toxtricity. Yeah.
Toxtricity. Yeah, the plus minus looks really fun here. Exploit, I'm not really sure. Maybe some stab boom burst over there. Mewtwo, I mean, super strong mon, and then there's a Heracross to finish things up. So yeah, I do like this team in general. What do you think, Matrix?
So I think the Fire Water Grass core is pretty nice. I like Incineroar. Milotic's one of my favorite water types. Again, it's another bulky water type. Can be run competitive, can be run with Flame Orb and Marvel Scale to boost its defense up, which is viable for some water types to have. What I also like is the Unburden mode. So you got Psychic Terrain with Sceptile, and I think Indeedee male plus Sceptile is a really good combination for Unburden. Same with Slurpuff, because Slurpuff can do some speed lowering stuff with I think it's String Shot it gets access to. Maybe I might be misremembering that one. But I'm pretty sure it has a speed lowering spread move, which can really help Indeedee male do damage with some expanding forces quite quickly out the gate. Obviously, Mewtwo really appreciates a Psychic Terrain setter. I like the Tornadus. Obviously, Tornadus isn't protected by the Psychic Terrain from Indeedee, but you could run an Iron Ball Tornadus if you wanted. Really screw with your opponents that way. That'd be quite funny. I mean, it gets Prankster, so it wouldn't be able to do anything that way, but it's something. plus and minus, as you say, the Toxtricity and Klinklang I think is kind of fun. I've got a Manectric and Klinklang in another Series 10 league that I'm really planning on. Obviously, it's quite weak to ground, that combination, but it's not too bad. You're not going to be running it every week anyway. And he does have like a bug, a grass, a flying type, so
You
that's
could
nice.
stick a balloon to it too.
Yeah, and what I really like is Heracross really appreciates some good speed control.
Yeah, definitely.
And Tornadus is one of the best speed control mons in the format. So yeah, that is all I can think of at the moment.
Yeah, I like the power of his first like 4 picks here with the like Incineroar, NDD, Tornadus, Mewtwo. Like I think that those mons are going to be pretty strong, and I think it's like well supported by Milotic, so you can't really go for like a lot of snarls or intimidates against this team.
Yep, and I think they need that because I mean, except for Milotic, I'm not sure this team is like really the bulkiest team.
Yeah, that's true too.
Does Slurpuff get fake tears?
I don't know.
Let's check.
If it did, that'd be pretty sweet.
I think that would really make this team really good if it does.
He has double Unburden too. I don't know if we mentioned the Slurpuff Unburden option. So it's a pretty sweet combination. And he's got like the double expanding Force users with NDD and Mewtwo, which I think would be pretty good.
It does.
Yes, it does get fake tears. Yes,
I thought it did, and that's really nice. So like, I really like Slurpuff.
He's got a lot of special attackers. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the next team. And it's my team. So
trash.
Yes. Sacramento Slash.
Okay, let's move on to the next person.
Oh man, I got crushed. All right, let's hear it. Who wants to go first? Let's go Brave here. Let's hear what you got.
All right, so obviously there's a Yveltal Comfy. Do we have to introduce this? I don't think so. Well, I already talked to Pat Mac about this team, kind of. So there's a few things that I would like to talk about. There's obviously, where is it? Jellicent and Lurantis that can work really well together with the contrary, and then strength boosting. There's, I think, who has Bulldoze on this team?
There's
we can speed up. Yeah, there's a couple. So I mean, we can boost Lurantis' speed as well. So I think Lurantis is pretty well supported here. There's a decent Trick Room one with a really good one with the Drampa in here. Bolton protects a lot of the mons in here as well as Marowak with the. Does it the Alolan one get Lightning Rod?
Yep.
Yes.
Does it? Yes. So yeah, and then there's the Ice combination of Ninetales and Sandslash, which I also really like in this team. Yeah, I mean this team looks scary to me. I mean, Yveltal is really scary. Just Yveltal. Go ahead, Matrix. What do you want to add?
Well, I remember Pat Mac drafting this team. So the Comfy Yveltal, as you've already said, like it's a really staple mode. Like weakness policy with Yveltal, you're going to be recovering yourself with Oblivion Wing. Obviously, Flying type is a really good offensive type. He's got a great Trick Room mode with the Jellicent and the Marowak and the Drampa. He's got both physical and special pressure there. Jellicent is a decent Trick Room setter itself. Nidoking provides a lot of coverage for switch-ins as well, like being poison and ground is really nice. Hitmontop is one of my favorites fighting types in this format. Really good fake out mon, wide guard. You've got access to stuff like triple axle, mock punch, close combat, feint. It's got quite a wide move pool for a supportive offensive support mon. It's actually really bulky as well, so it can take a lot of hits. Good sets include like berry sets and intimidate and stuff like that. Bolton is a really good support mon. Like you can't underestimate stuff like, I'm pretty sure it gets Nuzzle, one of the most annoying moves in the game. It gets Electrify as well, which isn't as good in a non-max format, but it can still work with the Nidoking. if you go for an Electrify and stop the Nidoking from taking damage.
And the Marowak. Does it work with the Lightning Rod?
No, because Electrify would be redirected.
Yeah, that's
I see. Yeah. That sucks.
And obviously, it's nice to have a nice little hail mode on the end, which, to be fair, they really complement each other well, both for the Alolan forms, because they only really share fire as a weakness between them, because of Sandslash obviously not weak to steel, Ninetales is double weak. You've got fighting is really weak against the Sandslash, but Ninetales being part fairy helps that. So it's nice that they just have the fire as the one weakness between them.
Which, like,
can we talk about Lurantis more?
I'm so excited.
Lurantis isn't really a mod of mine that I really like. I'm not a big fan of Lurantis, but I can respect that strength sap mode, the bulldoze for it. And I've seen it ran before with a scope lens and just goes to town.
Yep. Big shout out to M&M's. I think that's who you're talking about. Yeah.
That's exactly who. Yeah. M&M's.
I watched that a couple of times. Yeah, I'm just really excited to have picked up Alolan Sandslash as my last pick here. I haven't had a chance to use any of my.
You finally drafted your mascot.
I know, right? I'm so excited. I'm so excited to try it out because I've been using it for any of them.
Yeah. If you don't win this league, we're all dumping you now.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, now the pressure's on. Although I will say this, Boltund has been on the championship team the last 2 seasons of the TGR restricted, so I think I'm a shoo-in. I don't know.
And now you jinxed yourself.
No.
Boltund is a great mod.
Yeah, I've loved using it last season. I'm really excited to use it again this season because I think as much as we talked about my slow mode being pretty good, the fast mode is a little weak if I don't have Boltund. So, yeah.
I don't know. Evoltul's still good. I know it's not super fast, but it's still good.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's take a look at our next team. Oh yeah, another one of our commissioners mods, Fiac and the Barcelona Malamads.
Trash.
It's a Sun team. Of course, it's a Sun team.
Yeah, this is like super Sun, right? Like
this is Sun plus beat up. That is literally what I'm seeing here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Sun is really well supported too.
I'm okay. I'll might as well just start us off, but it is Sun, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You've got 10 mons on this team, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them work in Sun, like are fully supported by it.
Yep.
And then your other mons include Terrakion plus Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan being one of an amazing Series 10 mon. Like, it's so versatile. You go the really botty fake out last resort set, calling Lucian out on that one, a friend of mine. Or you can go really supportive, and Kangaskhan has a wide variety of support moves. It gets scrappy, it gets inner focus, it gets a decent 100 speed stats or something. Near, not quite. And a decent offensive stat as well. It's just a really good mon. I really like Kangaskhan. I think it's going to shine even more in a non-max format with that fake out pressure. Especially when you've got a mon like Venusaur and Whimsicott, you know that the opponent's going to be wanting to bring fake out against you. Terrakion brings a lot of upfront pressure, and obviously being in Sun, it's protected by water types. You're not really going to be wanting to bring grass types against this team due to the Sun. And the Shedinja can kind of be pretty reliant on the fact that it could run its Sash or something else, because you can just swap in Groudon to replace the Hail or Sand if it's up. And obviously being in a non-max format, you're not getting random max Hailstorms or Sand Streets falls to set the weather, so Shedinja doesn't have to be limited to one item or the other.
Wow, yeah. I hadn't noticed that. Yeah, that's good.
Don't know what else the Malamar brings other than just being Malamar for, Malamar's sake.
Yeah.
But Brave, you can take it over.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that much to add, I think, because, Sun. Does any of these mons get, like, Strength Up? That
I was
might
looking at
also
that.
boost the Malamar.
I think
Or-
Entei has Bulldoze though.
Yeah, Bulldoze definitely like boosts the speed. So yeah, I'm not sure. Fake Tears or anything else that can boost it.
Oh yeah, Whimsicott
Yeah, I
has
think a
Fake Tears.
Whimsicott, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that could be an option in some games. He doesn't necessarily want to use the Sun core, but yeah, I mean, with all those mons working well in Sun, might as well just bring it a lot. Yeah, Kangaskhan I used before as well. I really like that mon as well. I mean, the scrappy fake out just hits everything, and yeah, without the maxing, works really well.
Mm-hmm.
And Shedinja, yeah, I didn't know until Matrix told us about how well it's protected by ground on. So yeah, that could be also be like a solid bring. Yep, I like this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do too. I think it's really good. The I think one of the things that's definitely going to come up against this team is that like whenever you prep against it, you know you're going to have to prep for Sun. So I think there's going to be several games where Fiak's going to have to like play his switches really well, or like play around different weather setting. So like Whimsicott's probably going to be pretty important to have like the priority to get the weather back up.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I also
Yeah,
think
I mean-
you could. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I also think you could run Helioptile as a not just with solar power. Obviously, it gets access to dry skin. I know that's counterproductive with Sun. It takes damage, but you could use it as a switch in for water types if you're facing off against a team with like rain dance and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
To help the ground on the Entei and the Terrakion out a bit.
Yeah.
You've also got Ally Switch and Shedinja. I hate it, but it's doable, especially with a team that doesn't. It's not overly weak to dark, ghost, rock types, or even fire. Like, okay, yeah, Heat Wave is probably going to be the biggest threat for the Shedinja to face. Heat Wave and Rock Slide. But outside that, it could be used pretty well to support the Venusaur, the Entei, and that just as a ally switch bot.
Yep. I really want to see
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Shedinja get a bunch of KOs this season. That'd be really exciting.
Ring Snarl.
I think Venusaur kind of might like misses the Dynamax in this format, but I guess the Sleep Powder still really works well with this.
Yeah, Sleep Powder's really good. I don't think we talked about the Charon pick, but I'm pretty excited about that too. I think it's.
Don't like Charon.
Oh yeah, the flower gift, right?
Yep.
Yep, that should be really nice. Some nice support there.
Mm-hmm.
What else does it do?
I think it
Another day,
boosts
solid
like
light.
damage or something. Oh, like that's the actual ability. I don't know like what moves or
Charon.
stuffing it brings to the team though.
It gets grass
see.
moves, physical grass moves. It gets status, helping hand. I mean, helping
Helping
hand
Hand's
plus
good.
flower gift is going to be big damage. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's big. That's really big damage. All right, let's take a look at our next team here. And from Sun to Rain, we have the Vancouver Hetenas, coached by Bread Pudding. And just like, first thing that stands out is obviously Kyogre and Kingdra. Raichu supports that really well. Tangela can redirect some hits, which is solid. And I think Escavalier is going to be pretty solid for this team too, to give that Trick Room mode that like you're going to want to have, because I think that against Rain, you definitely want to have the option to switch those speeds up. And so Musharna and Escavalier I think is going to be pretty good for this team too. What do you think, Matrix?
I personally don't like Kingdra, but I understand that. I think maybe that's just my opinion, like straight out the gate. Kingdra's not one of my favorite mons. I think it's severely nerfed in a non-max format. I think if you want to run Kingdra, you've got to be a bit more creative with your sets other than just going, Life Orb Hydro Bomb, or Life Orb this, or Life Orb that. Like, it can really do well with a more bulkier Kingdra set. Getting off Muddy Waters just to be annoying. It can go for flip turns to reposition. You could run it with Yawn to be super annoying, which can do really good work with Mashana. Like, you can go for bulky Mashana defense skills and stuff, and it can work that way. You can go for breaking swipes with Kingdra, be a fast disruptive mon in the rain, especially against like physical grass types for the Kyogre. Obviously, Urshifu is going to be a great support no matter what for this team. I really like Crobat. It's one of my favorite mons in a Series 10. Inner Focus Tailwind is great. Like, I would argue it's better than Tornadus because you can run Mental Herb Crobat and guarantee yourself a Tailwind setup.
Yeah, going back to that Kingdra, I think you can also like run like a sniper set, right? You gave it like a scope lens that could be really nice against like really bulky teams. You could hit them pretty hard that way, I think. And then the rain obviously protects Escavalier as well, because I mean fire moves aren't going to really hurt it that bad anymore. So even outside of Trick Room, I think Escavalier could be a good brain. Yeah, and then the Trick Room mons look really solid. I like Torracat. I mean, it's a cheaper Incineroar, so that works well. And then there's Rage Powder for Tangela. So yeah, I do think this team is pretty well covered. And yeah, like you mentioned, the Crobat, that Tailwind, guaranteed to set up. So it has a really good fast mode. And yeah, I think... Is there anything else I have missed? Oh yeah, no, obviously Raichu, fast fake out, lightning rod, so that keeps a Kyogre, Crobat from getting hit by those painful electric moves. Yeah, and it has good speed control as well with what is it? Electro Web, Nuzzle.
Yeah, Nuzzle. Really
even
nice.
gets Speed Swap, which I used in I think in a previous league in UGA, I think.
Ooh,
so yeah, that might work.
Yeah.
You could speed swap the Escavalier.
Oh, that's a strat.
Definitely.
I want to see that.
Or even the Golurk.
Yeah. So I think Raichu is a really good bring for this team. It looks really nice.
I personally don't think Golurk's a brilliant fit for the team. If you're going to be running a rain team, because of it's weak to grass, it's weak to water, which you're setting the rain up for. It's another physical Trick Room mon to match Escavalier, which means that both of them can be burned pretty easily. Like, to counter the Trick Room, you just need to bring like some sort of bulky Will-O-Wisp mon, and Escavalier is not doing as much, Golurk's not doing as much. Urshifu can even be burnt because, like, obviously you can't intimidate Urshifu reliably. So for me, Golurk's probably the weakest link of the team. I do like, as you say, the Torracat, because when you run a rain team, you don't always want an offensive fire type. I think one of the best ways that could be a Fire, Water, Grass core in a rain team is to have a really supportive fire type. Mons like Volcarona, Torracat, Incineroar, they all do really well in rain teams.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. All right, let's go and take a look at our next team. We have the Colorado Rock Slides, coached by Edward, and I'm not really quite sure where to go with this team. It feels like there's just a mixture of solid mons. I think probably a weakness I would say is like the synergy. I think between mons. What do you think here, Brave?
Let me just ask: is Glastria also restricted or not?
No.
Not sure. Yeah. So, yeah, I think, I mean, the Trick Room core looks pretty solid with Porygon and Glastria. And then there's Mimikyu as well. So yeah, that looks pretty strong. So if he wants to run like a hard Trick Room set, I think he's pretty well covered. I'm not really sure. My knowledge of Solgaleo is kind of lacking. I just know it's bulky.
Yeah, super bulky.
I think Matrix, you'll need to help me out here, because yeah, I don't have that much knowledge about these mons.
So as you say, the Mimikyu is possibly the best Trick Room setter of the format. Or with its disguise and availability to run Mental Herb, you can't stop the Trick Room from going up 90% of the time. So yeah, he's got a strong Trick Room mode with the Glastria and the Mimikyu. That's something you can't ignore. Porygon 2 as well is a really offensive Trick Room setter. Really good mon. Porygon 2, brilliant mon. I think it can fit onto nearly any team and it'd be great. But you've got it paired. You've got the Tangrowth and Urshifu. Now, personally, my rule of thumb is if you have a really good water type that is a little bit on the frail side, having Rage Powder as your redirection method isn't the best. Because you're going to get hit by grass types regardless. Because obviously grass types ignore the Rage Powder. That's just my personal opinion on that. However, outside of Urshifu, you don't really want to be running grass types against this team anyway. You've got Poison, you've got Fire, you've got Ice, you've got a Steel that resists, and a Dragon and Flying, even a Bug type. So, like, outside of the Urshifu, people aren't going to be wanting to run the grass types. So it's probably just better off you'd be running something like some other flying type or something. Or I think Urshifu has a lot of twitchings on this team, which is nice.
And the fairies, the fairies are walled by a Solgaleo, right? So
yeah, and even Skuntank to an extent can do some work against the fairies. So on that side of things, I think that's really nice. Noivern being a good fast Tailwind setter, can't ignore the ability Frisk. Frisk is an amazing ability to have on a fast Mon or Mon that you're likely to lead, and Noivern is a very likely lead in a lot of games. So that can really help. It also helps Solgaleo just beat out that speed stat, where it's outspeeding a lot more Mons in the format. I don't know if looking at this, if there's anything that gets bulldozed. Because Solgaleo is actually one of the few Mons that, prior to this generation, would actually run weakness policy, I believe. Prior to a max format. I know it was used in on showdown singles and stuff, like in Ubers and stuff. You'd run there'd be weakness policy Solgaleo sets because of how bulky it is. So that's really nice. His lower picks are a little bit lackluster though. I'm not a big fan of the Rotom or the Charger Bug. I know Charger Bug can be nice for certain scenarios, and Reboot I feel is a bit lacking as well.
Sorry to interrupt you. Tangrowth gets a bulldoze.
Oh my god, amazing.
Ooh, exciting. I actually kind of like the Charger Bug because I think the team is very physical, and so I think having Charger Bug to kind of beef up some of the special attackers means that teams can't necessarily just prep by bringing a bunch of physical defense. They need to be aware of Charger Bug, either to KO it outright so they don't need to worry about having Spadef, or to put a little Spadef in there so that they can still take some special hits.
I don't know. I tend to disagree on the part that his special attackers on this team are Rotom, Skuntank sometimes, Tangrowth sometimes, a very frail, very ice weak Noivern, and rock weak, which means you're just getting 3 rock slides into Noivern plus Charger Bug, and Porygon 2. They're the limitations of the special attackers on this team, and they're not, even with that boost, they're not the best special attackers, so I don't think it's really needed.
That's true.
Yes. Things get Well, once things are burned on this team, it really goes downhill, I think.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm trying to think if there's any Mons that get Safeguard.
Oh, I have no idea. That's not a move I keep track of. Yeah, I think having high Fizz Def or having Burns is going to be pretty solid here against this team.
Yeah.
Safeguard.
Tangrowth might be needed a lot for redirection.
Yeah.
Yeah, this team really depends on Tangrowth in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Okay,
let's take a look at our next team here. We have the Brooklyn Blastoise, coached by Josh Alls 14. And Matrix, what are your first thoughts taking a look at this team?
It's just a weird collection of Mons. You've got a great Trick Room set in Arumbates. there's two distinct mons that you look at on this team, and it is obviously going to be Regieleki, and it's going to be Calyrex. Calyrex Ice is greatly supported by Amoonguss. Being able to just hit or set up its own trick room next to the Amoonguss. Yes, it's weak to fire, that's the combination, but the defenses of Calyrex Ice means it can often run like weakness policy sets. Aromatisse is possibly one of my favorite trick room setters. Might not be the best, but it often lives pretty much any attack you want. Aroma Veil is great in this team because it means that you can't taunt Amoonguss, you can't taunt a Regieleki Screens, you can't taunt Nasty Plot Rotom, you can't taunt Setup Mandibuzz. So it allows all these really supportive mons or setup inclined mons to not worry about being instantly shut down. Aroma Veil also stops the uses of, like, I believe, Disable and all those type of moves.
Yep.
So obviously Disable isn't always going to be the go-to move. You're never just going to run it. But it can be nice to stop certain modes like the Amoonguss and that. Arachnid, I love that mod. I think it's great. Wide Guard, as well as like that double water type damage. Really good. You've got your Water Fire and Grass Core, a little bit more unorthodox than most, but it's good nonetheless. And your Fantasy Core is lacking the Dragon, but Aromatisse is good. Berserker can hit hard with the Steely Spirit Iron Heads. To be honest, unless you're hitting a mon that resists steel, it's always just better to go for the Iron Head play. Brion, I'm not a fan of, but like I don't really see it doing anything for this team in particular.
I would have thought maybe the Intellion pre-evolution might have fitted better here with like Ice Shard, Aqua Jet to like proc some weakness policies on some mons.
Yeah,
that would have looked really good.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. If it was available in the same tier.
Yeah. I kind of want to go back to your Rage Powder argument from the previous team. Here you can see it working really well, right? Because obviously you don't want to bring a grass type into the Calyrex. Yeah. So here I think Rage Powder is like a really good support option for the Calyrex to keep it safe. Yeah, and then you have like the slow mode, but then on the other side of the perspective you have a Regieleki, which is like the fastest mon. So yeah, I mean you're always kind of in like speed control. And then Mandibuzz, I love Mandibuzz. This is such a good mon. It's bulky. It can run some tricks. And then to round things up, there's a Fake Out, and then I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm really not sure what the Brion is doing. But maybe it's the mascot of the team. Who knows?
I know he had Brion last season, and at least against me and he brought it with Perish Song. So like being able to pick up some early KOs, you can Perish Song.
That might be something. Yeah. That could be the trick here.
That makes it a little bit more scary actually, because this team is rather bulky.
It's pretty offensive too. Like it's got some good damage output. Or at least some of the mons. Maybe I should back that up. A couple of the mons.
Yeah, it looks really versatile.
Output. I think one thing that I really like is the combination of Calyrex plus Regieleki. Like you want to bring your ground type because there's a Regieleki on his side, but then you really don't want to bring your ground type because there's a Calyrex right there too. So I think the two of those mons work pretty well together.
It's also really good because Calyrex Ice's base speed is 50, which means you can actually run two Electro Webs, and Calyrex Ice can actually outspeed things if you're not running minimum speed.
Yeah, no, you could totally pull like a regular one. Yeah. It gets agility too, which is kind of funny.
Wow. And if you've got so a lot of what I see in Series 10 can be like you've got a Regieleki on these Trick Room teams, and that's because of they can lead the Regieleki, get some fast damage off first, like hit hard quick, and then set Trick Room, Volt Switch into one of their Trick Room mons like Calyrex Ice or something that can take a hit that Regieleki doesn't want to. and then you've got Regieleki in the back for when Trick Room ends.
Yeah, it's a good strat.
Yep.
Yeah, this team does look pretty good. Because I think it's got a good combination of mons. Like, it's got good bulk, it's got good damage. I will say, like, if you are able to take care of the Calyrex Ice, it looks like the damage output of this team kind of drops off.
Liquidation Arachnid and Steely Spirit Berserker.
Yeah,
It's
that's
got a lot of mons with abilities that boost their stab. Steely Spirit, Transistor, Aqua Bubble or Water Bubble.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Okay, and we're on to our last team now, which is the Evialites, coached by Ignite. And
of course, Xerneas.
yeah, Xerneas Volcarona sounds like a pretty sweet combination to me.
oh wow, yeah. That looks strong. I mean, it also has all the cores, so water, fire, grass. Yeah, fantasy is there too. Then there's Ditto.
Ditto's gonna be
There
great.
you have the parting shot, Persian, fake out. Is there a good trick room mode for this team?
No.
None of his mons get Trick Room.
Oh, yeah. So that
And they're not
might
slow
be.
either.
Yeah, that might be a problem for this team.
Yeah, Ice
I'm also
is-
not a big. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say Ice is kind of a problem for this team too. It's got triple dragon.
I was
Oh,
about
yeah.
to say I'm not a big fan of the multiple dragons.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any ice switch-ins other than Volcarona either. Volcarona and Klefki are decent ice switch-ins, but then when you like a 30-year team is weak to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his mons are weak to freeze dry. That's
yeah, that
half his
hurts.
team. Obviously, Ditto can switch into a freeze dry, maybe, but going from an ice type. But
Yep.
I think there's some good pieces here. I think that it would benefit from trade. So it's like he doesn't need 3 dragons. I will admit, Volcarona plus Komodo is good because you do. Fairy type moves are going to be redirected into Volcarona. Volcarona resists, other than Dazzling Gleam, obviously. But grass types can ignore and hit the Komodo, and it's not going to do anything other than maybe like sleep. Maybe do sleep powders into it. That's the only other thing.
Yeah.
But its abilities are bulletproof, soundproof, and something else. Okay.
I don't remember off the top of my head. But I agree, like kind of the analysis that Volcarona feels very, very important for this team.
Overcoat.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It does get overcoat.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's the last ability.
Thought it had overcoat. Just wasn't sure. At least it'd be running it can't be sleep powdered, so yeah, again, nice with the Volcarona. Xerneas, obviously, an amazing mod. I do think what I like as well is that one of my favorite Xerneas teams in Series 10 revolves around using like Pheromosa and stuff. So what Pheromosa is able to do is do like some fast speed control, like icy winds and things, and you get a similar output from like Thunderwave Klefki or Icy Wind Persian. Like Technician boosted Icy Wind from Persian actually does quite a bit of damage to like mons weak to ice and neutral resistance. Laios is obviously a decent Tailwind setter with its large special bulk, but does this team suffer from like steel and poison? That's the thing you have to look at here. Can the Xerneas be hit by poison or steel moves? Does it have switches?
I guess Klefki works for the poison.
Gyarados can be solid.
And steel, yeah, that looks solid.
I would have liked a different water on this team aside from Gyarados. Something that, because like it's neutral to ice, it would have been nice to have something that could resist it.
I
agree with that.
I think also Taunt really works well against this team because they're all like setup mons. Like a lot of them depend on setting up. So if you
like
Taunt,
a safety goggles Tauntmon could really do work here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Xerneas is really strong, so
Yeah.
it's definitely still gonna do some real big damage on other teams. So maybe they're just thinking like, I can bring all these dragons because I have Xerneas. And
true, but I don't know. I think I'd like to see some of these dragons disappear. And get some better substitutes, like diversify your types a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there a ground type? Is there a ground type?
No.
Oh gosh.
No.
Reggie Lucky looks really good against them.
yeah. I was just thinking that like, oof, the previous team would do pretty well here, because I mean with the Calyrex Ice and then the Regieleki.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
That looks rough.
That would crush.
Yeah, I think Gyarados and maybe Dragonite need to go. Laios as well.
Latias is nice to have for the Tailwind.
Yeah, but there's better Tailwind Mons.
Yeah, I guess that's true. If there's, there's quite a few teams that have Tailwind Mons, so you'd have to find one that hasn't been taken already. Because I know, several have been snatched up. Okay, so that's all of the teams. And before we go to the next slide, let me just preface that the next slide is all me. Brave and Matrix have not seen my list in terms of power rankings. And so we get to see their reaction right off the bat. So it's going to be pretty exciting. And then another thing I will say is, these teams are really good. There's a lot of good things going on with them, and it was really tough for me to try to rank them. And I did my rankings in, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. So, they're not super thought out. And actually, going through this, I'm thinking now that there might be a couple I would change. So we'll see what Brave and Matrix think in just a moment here.
Just before you change the slide,
okay.
I have wrote down an initial scoring for all of mine as well.
Okay, yeah, so I'm super interested to see.
So it'd be kind of cool to compare. And I do agree. I don't have so I've ranked mine out of 10, and I haven't got a single team below 5.
Yeah, no, there's some really strong teams
They're
here.
all really strong teams.
Yeah.
I should have done that as well. I haven't done anything. Sorry, guys.
Hey, Brave
so I'll
just
be the
gets
one
to see
just
the
going,
ranking.
what?
All right, here they are.
Huh.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. I should have noted down the teams based on their team names rather than the coaches' names, so I know who's whose.
Oh, okay.
I should have done that. I didn't.
Well, I can give you the quick overview. So the Vancouver Hitenas is the Kyogre team. That's the Rain team. The CNY Charizard is the Zacian Crown team.
Yeah.
Ninja Squirtles is the Calyrex Shadow. Barcelona Malamads, that's the Sun team. Middle Village Pidoves, that's the Dialga Ho-Oh team. My team is the Veltal. The Rolled Gold Pretzels. Oh, that's the Kyurem Black team. Yeah, with the Rillaboom Arcanine Primarina. McChesney Park Slowpokes is the Mewtwo with Incineroar. Brooklyn Blastoise is the Calyrex Ice team. Colorado Rock Slides is the Solgaleo Glastrier team. Eviolites is the Xerneas Triple Dragon team. And the Dripped Out Dragapults is the No Restricted Feeny, Grimmsnarl, Heatran, Salamence team.
Okay. We have differences.
Yeah.
Definitely got differences in opinions on this.
Yeah, I think my after our conversation, I'd probably move the Middle Village Pidoves team down a little bit farther. I didn't notice some of the the anti-synergy that some of those mons brought to each other. And maybe that might have been my love for Dialga. That mod's really good, so I put it a little bit higher because of that.
Eggnite is Eevee, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And Joshel's is...
That's the Brooklyn
the
Blastoise.
Eleki. Yeah. The Eleki Calyrex Ice
Which team name is that?
The Brooklyn Blastoise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Matrix, you can go first. I didn't write anything down, so I'm kind of checking the team names and the mons they have. So trying to
Before
figure out
you
the ranking.
start giving us your ranking here, after this slide, if you could send me your list, I'll add it in after this.
Okay.
And so viewers will be able to see what this is, and I'll have your list up basically as soon as you start talking about it now.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just making sure I have got the list in the right order because I've only done them out of 10, so there's someone like a tied score.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries.
But I'll start off with saying that the Charizards, they're my number one.
Okay.
I think seeing that team straight out of the gate, because that's the first team we looked at as well, I didn't see another team that I thought was as OP as that team.
Yeah, it does look very strong.
It does miss a few things that I consider strong in a draft, but the mons themselves and the way they just support each other so well, it was just, I found it hard to find another team that did as well as they did. My number 2 is actually the Sacramento Sandslash, not to be biased. But yeah, that's my number 2 at 8.5 out of 10. I think I went into enough detail during that. I then have 2 teams tied for number 3, but I would say Casey, the Ninja Squirtles, is my number 3, followed by Fire and the Malamads. Although it's a very mono-sun team, it's strong. I've got it listed here as my I hate 8 out of 10 because I hate sun. So glad you reacted to the joke. I was worried that was going to go over the heads. So that's that's number 3, that's number 4. My number 5 team then moves down to 7.5 out of 10, which is a tie between the Vancouver Hatenas and the Slowpokes. I would say that I prefer the Vancouver Hatenas. So that's my number 5. And then the Slowpokes is my number 6. My number 7 though, and this is where it's a little bit different. I really like the Draggapults team, even though I thought it was a number 7 worthy. Which I think is weird considering I was hating on it so much to begin with. Not hating, but I was ripping it apart a little bit. So I think now I would move it down a little bit to the lower end of that score that I had for it. So my number 7 will be the rolled gold Pretzels.
Okay.
Followed by the Blastoise at number 8. They're also tied on 7. Followed by the Draggapults at number 9. My number 10 is the Eevees. Yep.
Okay.
My number 11 is the Rock Slides. And my number 12 is the Middle Village Pidovs.
Okay.
And that is my definitive Matrix approved ranking.
Sounds great. Yeah, I think a lot of the changes I think you made to the list that I have, I think a lot of those make sense, especially after our conversation and hearing some more perspectives. And that's one of the things that's so interesting about doing power rankings is that like a person's first take can easily switch after a handful of conversations. And so this, like, we're a little over an hour now into our recording, and like this list is probably not the list that I would go with as like my end all be all. And so these are just my first takes, and having a conversation with the two of you guys is like, I don't know, there's some things that I had not considered, and I think it's really good to have these kind of conversations. And one of the things that's so cool about power rankings is that you get to hear more about teams and how the mons work together, and it can influence like later draft strategies that you have for different leagues and things like that. So yeah,
definitely agree. And to just back off what you said, there's a lot of things that we've discussed that each other might not have been aware about. But I know for a fact there's a lot more to these teams that even I've not realized from an initial glance.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure there's a lot more to these teams than what we've even discussed here today.
Yep, they can go ahead and prove us wrong. I mean, sure.
That's easily the best part about power rankings. Like, show us how wrong we are. You know, like I want to see the drift out Draggapults go absolutely crazy this season. Like that would be so cool to see this team like without a restricted, right? Just like go absolutely crazy on all these restricted mons. Like, I don't even need that. That'd be great.
Yep.
Okay, and so let's go and pack everything up here. We've been recording this for a little while now, and if you're still here, you're still listening to us ramble on about Pokemon, we appreciate you. And if you'd like to see some more content, I will be recording for this league, and I'm not sure how many other people we have that record for this league. However, if there are any, I will definitely have their link down in the description, as well as a link to the Discord server. So if you'd like to stop in and kind of spectate the league, see how things are going, check out match results, the doc, and all that kind of stuff, then definitely click that link. We'd love to have you join us. And yeah, I think we'll kind of call it here. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you for being with us through these power rankings. And if you'd like to see some more, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And we'll catch you on the next one.